What's up, guys? Chris 20 of the crew here, and we just got a news story that we need to talk about. Something that's really hitting home with us right now is that there was a shooting at Virginia Beach, in Virginia, right?
Yep.
All right. So yeah, there was a shooting, I believe, yesterday. So far,
No,
we
it
know
was
about.
2 days ago.
So I guess there's been 12 victims. Do you want to go ahead and give them all the facts on this?
Yeah, so I'll go to the article real quick here. The gunman's name was Mr. Craddock, and he
Mr. Crab.
was Mr. Craddock, sure, Mr. Krebs, that's what you want to call him, whatever. He apparently sent in his resignation email in the morning, and then when he came back to work, he opened fire and killed 12 people.
Where
And
did he work?
he worked at the City of Virginia Beach. Hold on. He was an engineer who worked for the City of Virginia Beach for 15 years.
So obviously, this guy wasn't born mentally insane. Something happened to him throughout the course of his life.
Right. He worked for 15 years and then he snapped. Something had to happen. So at around 4 p.m. is when it started, and around 4, let's see, 18, it was over when the officers found him barricaded in a room and he bled out on the floor because he was injured.
Did he take his own life?
Don't think so. He exchanged gunfire with the police. I'm sure a round hit him, and so he barricaded himself in a room. Then the cops breached it and found him in critical condition, and he bled out on the floor.
So, what other facts do we have, or is that all you got?
That's about all the facts we got. He barricaded himself in the room, and
Was this for any political motive?
so far it doesn't seem politically motivated.
Okay. So, let's go ahead and dig into it. So, what are your thoughts on all this?
Well, his coworkers probably noticed him change, but they didn't say anything because they thought it was normal. But as we all know, when somebody starts acting different than they should, something's probably up with them. You should probably see if they're all right. I'm sure his coworkers noticed he was acting up because out of nowhere, you're not just gonna wake up and be like, you know what, I'm gonna murder all my coworkers. You just don't do that.
Yeah, so people really need to start paying attention more and observing things around them and not just going about their merry way. When someone's losing their fucking mind, going
They
out
need
and buying
help.
guns.
He's apparently the gunman was also an army veteran, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it didn't say.
I'm sure that fucked him up. Was he ever
It
deployed?
didn't say.
Well, I'm sure he was. But people need to start paying more fucking attention to people. Like when someone's talking about buying guns and talking about how he hates life, he hates his job, he wants to kill himself. That's a red fucking flag, people.
You need to say something to your supervisor, like, "Hey, saying some questionable things."
Did he say any questionable things?
It doesn't say in the article, but I'm sure he did. But nobody's come forward and said, "Oh yeah, he was acting strange for the past few weeks." Like, you
Because
could have
that's not
stopped him, man.
that would have been prominent because when people lose their minds like that, they don't have the filter to keep it in.
Yeah, they'll say it out loud to somebody they trust and all that. They'll be like, "Yeah, man, don't show up to work. I'm gonna come shoot the place up." Like, whoa.
And this is going to be used as
More Second
ammunition.
Amendment. We need to revoke it. Stuff. Yeah. If this is what's going to come back on, they're going to be like, "Well, the Second Amendment made this happen." No, unstable people got a hold of weapons and used them against people.
Yeah,
So it
it's
has
not a gun
nothing to do with the
issue.
Second Amendment. It's got something to do with unstable people getting a hold of firearms and using them against other people.
It's a mental health concern, not a gun issue.
It's not
You
a gun
know,
problem.
people people like, Edward Hubbard who are mentally insane, they need to be locked away.
Yeah.
Edward Hubbard has attacked people I like. He's attacked people I don't like. And then it got to the point where he was talking about people I've never even heard of. So then it got to the point where I'm like, this guy is nuts. I need to separate myself from him. And I tried to check him in. You guys know I tried to do it. But I called and they were like, well, you got to be his family. And then like, well, you got to call the police. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And then they let the nutcracker out of the nut house. And 1 year later, today, apparently Hubbard's getting a job as a security guard with a gun. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't give a gun to a mentally unstable person. It's definitely not the best idea.
Well, of course, this goes without saying, but we just want to give our condolences out to the families and the victims of this tragedy. We don't think this is any kind of laughing matter, but we just don't think it should be turned around on the Second Amendment or used in any political war.
This shouldn't be used in any political war. Bottom line is, a mentally unstable person got hold of a weapon and shot people. A gun doesn't kill people without pulling the trigger. So if you're saying, oh, the gun did it, no, the mentally insane person with the firearm killed those people. The gun didn't do it itself. It's not going to magically shoot somebody.
I mean, I could take a piece of wood and whip somebody upside the head with it. Are we going to start banning everything? Ban wood?
Ban wood? Yeah, no. The people thing. It's not, and you can't blame an inanimate object. Like, that's not how it works.
I mean, I could take this disc, Gears of War 4, shitty game, and I could just throw it like fucking right in somebody's eye and make them go blind. But are we going to ban discs? I mean, come on, people.
Use your brain. It's a mental health problem, not a gun problem.
So we're going to have a moment of silence. It's 9:56, 9:57. We'll come back. All right, moment of silence. All right, we're back. So what else do you have to add?
I'm sure in the following days there'll be more news about, all the backgrounds and what happened, so we'll know the full story in a couple of days. But as of now, there's not much out, so I'm sure we'll hear some more, though.
Yeah, so we're going to be going ahead and getting on here, you guys. We don't like doing videos like this, but, we wanted to just give our condolences out to the families and just, talk about how people are trying to turn this around into something it shouldn't be. So we thought we should talk about it. Obviously, tomorrow is Meme Mondays, so we'll have that to cheer us up. We got a good one coming out tomorrow. And, of course, we're going to be doing some more streaming throughout the week and more political stuff. So just make sure you're keeping an eye out for that. Do you want to say anything else to the people?
Nah. We got you, number one news source right here.
For everything in the world. So make sure you go to and subscribe to us because we cover everything, literally everything in the world. So thank you guys for watching. Courage 20 and the crew out.